1976. Throughout the land, people are celebrating our nation's 200th birthday. Most of these activities commemorate events in America's past. Actually, America has very deep spiritual roots. The Pilgrims sought religious freedom and the chance to do God's will. The Declaration of Independence acknowledged the protection of divine providence. Religious leader from Korea is bringing America a bicentennial event of the greatest significance. In 1974, Reverend Moon proclaimed the exciting message of God's hope for mankind. More than 40,000 people crowded Madison Square Garden. Reverend Moon prays deeply. And now God's plan for America is to be revealed by Reverend Moon at the bicentennial God Bless America Festival. But first, from their headquarters near Fifth Avenue, members of the Unification Church International eagerly participate in a special campaign to clean up a very dirty New York City. They are showing by example that we all must take responsibility and help if we want to create a cleaner and better world to live in. Cleaner both spiritually as well as physically. The excitement increases as the campaign for the Biocycle Festival gets underway. Members go to all areas of the city to promote and publicize the upcoming festival. And the people respond. The city of New York, which has had a reputation of being cold and unresponsive, finds itself giving a warm welcome to these bright young people. People who are living the God-centered way of life taught by Reverend Moon. Literally hundreds of thousands of signatures for tickets are collected. As the public learns about the God Bless America Festival, the request for tickets to hear Reverend Moon speak is overwhelming. 10 phone operators are kept busy from early morning to late at night, handling the calls that pour in. The response is tremendous. Computerized mailing is used to send out the thousands of colorful tickets to Yankee Stadium. During these final weeks, special banquets are held for businessmen, professional people, and community leaders. They can see and hear firsthand an introduction to the inspiring message that Reverend Moon will soon be bringing to all of New York. Throughout the city, public rallies and parades generate tremendous excitement and herald the upcoming festival. A massive rally on Wall Street draws literally thousands. June 1st, the long-awaited day comes at last. Inside Yankee Stadium, final preparation.
Well, they're ready to roll the carpet in about another half hour.
Television cameras are set up to record the festival for later broadcast. Beautiful decorations and large white letters spelling our nation's motto, God Bless America, are assembled on the outfield grass. But from early morning on, cloudy, overcast skies create an uneasy feeling. Suddenly, "60-mile-an-hour winds rip through the stadium, destroying many of the decorations. The Weather Bureau reports a coming tornado." But in the midst of this chaos and confusion, an even more amazing scene takes place. Instead of running for shelter, members, their parents, and guests refuse to be defeated by the storm. This impromptu singing creates an unprecedented high spirit of unity and brotherhood all throughout the stadium. It is a united prayer, a deep-hearted petition to God for sunshine, and the prayer is answered. "30 minutes later, almost as dramatically as the rain began, the storm ends. It is a miracle. The stadium is quickly cleared and redecorated. In spite of the violent rainstorm, the people come. More than 45,000 people attend the bicentennial God Bless America Festival, an outstanding turnout. The president of the Bicentennial God Bless America Committee, Mr. Neil Albert Salonen, opens the exciting festival.
This evening, it's inspiring to see so many tens of thousands of people that have come together to celebrate the birth of this nation and also to give thanks to God for the blessings that He's given us.
The New Hope Singers International begins the evening's entertainment. This choir of 52 young men and women from 25 different nations performs cherished American hymns. The highly acclaimed New York City Symphony. The symphony came under the chairmanship of Reverend Moon in 1973. Tonight, they perform the final movement of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. beautiful and exciting Korean folk. The beautiful and exciting Korean folk.
Present the Reverend Sun Myung Moon.
The founder of and inspiration behind the bicentennial God Bless America Festival and the great religious leader of our time, the Reverend Sun Myung Moon. His message, God's hope for America.
친애하는 미국 시민 여러분, 그리고 존경하는 세계 대표 여러분, 저희는 오늘 미국은 하나님의 소망이 되는 주제로 말씀하고자 합니다.
Distinguished citizens of the United States and honorable delegates of the world, I would like to speak to you tonight on the subject God's hope for America.
하나님이 원하시는 가정과 교회와 국가는 인정을 초월해야 하며 국적을 초월해야 합니다.
God seeks to build one family of men. Therefore, the family, church, and nation which God desires transcend all barriers of race and nationality.
외국 사람은 세계에 만나서 왔습니다. 여기서는 인정을 묻지 않고 신앙을 가리지 않고 문화병을 문제 삼지 않습니다. 이 지상 어느 곳에서 왔든지 간에 내 집이라 할 수 있는 나라, 이것이 바로 미국입니다.
The people of America have come from every corner of the world. To be an American does not depend upon what race you are, what belief you have, or what cultural background you are from. It is only in this nation that no matter where you come from, you can proudly say, this is my country. That is America.
그러므로 미국은 세계의 축사세요 선미의 뜻 가운데 특별히 기름 부어 세우시고 육성 안에서 짧은 200년간의 풍성한 축복을 주셔신 나라인 것을 분명히 알아야 합니다.
America is a microcosm of the world. In His providence, God anointed America with oil. He poured out abundant blessing upon this land. In a short 200 years, God raised this nation to be the mightiest nation on earth.
그러나 지금 미국이 국제신앙은 땅에 떨어지고 뉴욕은 죄악의 도성이요 악마의 도시로 화해가고 있습니다. 미국 전역에 이와 같이 사탄이 주인이 될 때 하나님은 외면하실 수밖에 없고 급기야 미국을 떠나실 수밖에 없게 될 것입니다. 지금이 바로 그런 때인 것을 똑똑히 알아야 합니다.
Today, however, the world has lost faith in America, and New York has become a jungle of immorality and depravity. God has been forgotten in this country.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Naririnig niyo po ako malinaw? Okay. Start na po tayo. We'll have our channel of content.
Humihina, Irene.
Ay. Sige po. I-change ko na lang yung headset ko. Asa na? Let's share this one. Wait lang po. Ay. Sorry na. Okay. For our opening prayer, may I request Ma'am Sylvia to lead the opening prayer? Ate Sylvia? Okay. Um, Ma'am Marilyn, pwede po kayong mag-lead ng opening prayer po? Niyo
Naririnig
po ba?
po. Okay,
Ayan po.
naririnig po ako.
Yes po.
So, please join me in prayer. Good evening to you, our loving heavenly parents and the students of Heavenly God. We are so grateful today for all the blessings we received, for the extension of our lives that we are able to attend to divine principle study with our brothers and sisters. We would like to ask your guidance tonight as we go on with our discussion. This opportunity give us a better understanding, realization of the topics to discuss and be able to connect the significance of sequence. We have to pray also for our forgiveness, for all our shortcomings and imperfections, which sometimes still influence your convictions. We bless also our tomorrow to continue to mission the fulfillment of the will. Bless also our elders, leaders, and complaints. We try to contribute for the success of all your plans for the restoration of humanity. All of this we ask on behalf of our brothers and sisters, in His name and our name, and in the name of our body, supporters, family, country.
Aju, good evening po sa lahat. Happy Saturday. I think supposedly may mga presenter po ngayon. Kaya lang di ko po alam kung makakapag-present sila today.
Good evening, Sir Randy.
Good evening, Sir Randy.
So, good evening po. Tuloy muna natin panoorin yun.
Sige po.
Sige
Yung kanina.
po. Tapos yung reflection after na lang.
And if forgotten, God can only live America. Now is the very moment that this is taking place.
이 생민족의 통합이 힘이 되었던 하나님께서 떠났으니 가정은 파탄되고 교회는 분열하여 이 나라는 세포가 썩어가는 인처처럼 온통 치명적으로 병들었습니다. 이때 총을 서서 공산주의의 불길에 이 나라를 송두리째 삼키려 하고 있습니다.
When the unifying force of God leaves America, nothing will be able to hold America together. The family will break down. Churches will divide, and America will become mostly ill because the cells of her body are decaying. This will be the perfect opportunity for the evil of communism to overtake America.
사랑하는 미국 시민 여러분, 하나님이 진로를 두려워하면서 크게 회개하여야 할 때는 맞습니다. 하나님을 중심한 진정한 초인종주의자라야, 초국가주의자라야, 초세계주의자라야, 그리고 이러한 가정과 교회와 국가를 가진 것을 자랑으로 생각하는 자라야 진정한 미국인이라 하겠습니다. 하나님의 눈에는 흑인도 백인도 황인도 없습니다.
Beloved American people, the time has come that we must repent. We must fear the wrath of God. In the truest sense, who are the true Americans? True Americans are those who are proud of such international families, churches, and of the nation, which consists of all people. In the sight of God, there is no black, there is no white, there is no yellow.
여러분들의 조상들이 땀 흘려 이루간 창국 전술로 돌아갑시다. 하나님의 사상으로 돌아갑시다.
America must return to the true founding spirit of the nation. America must return to Godism and absolutely God-centered ideology.
제3세기로 향하는 오늘의 미국은 한국 당시의 종교의 핍박에 못 이겨 각국에서 몰려온 신교도를 결석하여 하나님의 이름으로 하나의 나라 즉 원네이션 한다 가설을 세웠듯이 지금은 사상적 핍박에 못 이겨 공산권에서 자유세계로 넘어오는 새로운 국민들을 결석하여 기독교적이요 세계적인 하나님의 이름을 중심하고 마침내는 공산세계가 승리하여 하나님의 이름으로 하나의 세계를 즉 완월드 한다 가설을 정령코 이루어야 할 것입니다.
The American forefathers fled from religious persecution in Europe, came to the New World, and in the spirit of building one nation under God, they brought about a new nation here in America, which is now at the threshold of her third century. In a similar way, today, people are fleeing from the communist world of slavery to the free world. United, the free world must liberate the enslaved communist world. This time, our task is build one world under God.
우리는 사람이 무엇 때문에 미국에 와서 이렇게 순환을 당하고 있습니까?
Why has Reverend Moon come to America where he has encountered such tribulation?
미국이라는 나라는 내가 사랑하는 하나님께서 지극히 사랑하시는 나라이기 때문에 이 나라 백성들은 하나님을 배반해도 하나님께서는 참아 버리지 못해 안타까워하시기 때문에 그러한 하나님을 아버지로 모신 내가 고생을 무릅쓰고 명령을 받들어 나오는 걸음입니다.
I came to America because this is the country which God, our Heavenly Father, has chosen.
하나님께서는 태각된 나라의 미국을 먼저 건져시고 나서 없기하는 미국으로 하여금 전 세계를 구하게 하시려는 거센 뜻이 있는 것을 우리는 너무나 잘 알고 있기 때문입니다.
I know God's will is to save the world, and to do this, America must lead the way. This is why I came to America.
올해는 기독교에 입각한 하나님 저의 사상으로 미국을 각성시켜 땅의 하나님의 모형인 이상국가를 건설하고자 나서야 합니다.
New ideology which the Unification Church brings is Godism, an absolutely God-centered ideology. It has the power to awaken America, and it has the power to raise up the model of the ideal nation of God upon this land of America.
이것이 이루어지는 날 온 세계는 미국의 손을 받아 인종과 국적을 초월한 지상 천국 건설에 가담할 것이니 하나님을 오보이러 모신 형제 자매로서 서로 사랑하며 정답고 행복스럽게 살 수 있는 인간 대가족 이념의 세계, 말하자면 하나님께서 아들한테서부터 개혁하셨던 영원한 이상체에게 지상 천국은 우리들의 손으로 이루어야 한다.
With that done, the rest of the world will follow America's example and will build the kingdom of God upon their respective lands. Then we shall all truly become brothers and sisters under one Father, God. This will be a world of love, a world of happiness. This will be the eternal, ideal will of God. Indeed, it will be the kingdom of God on earth. We will build it with our hands.
신뢰하는 시민 여러분, 오늘 우리의 자리에서 걸어가신 하나님 앞에 신성한 임무를 받도록 이루어질 것을 다 같이 맹세합시다. 만장하신 여러분, 하나님의 이름으로 결속 통일하여 세상 천국 건설회로 정진군합시다.
My beloved citizens of America, today let us pledge to God Almighty our loyalty and dedication to the fulfillment of the divine mission. Ladies and gentlemen, in the name of God, let us unite and together build the kingdom of God right here on earth.
Thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless America. Thank you very much.
The grand finale brings together all the performers for a breathtaking salute to God and America. But this is not the end. Rather, it's the beginning of an important new movement to bring America back to God, to reawaken the freedom and hope of a God-centered America. A nation that is able to inspire and bring about one world under God.
Alright po. Um, so, after the viewing nung video na shinare po ni Kuya Randy, any thoughts po sa inyo that you would like to share? Ate Sylvia, Ma'am Marlene. Actually, kanina ang una ko pong naisip, sana marunong ako mag-Korean. Para dire-diretso yung understanding ko nung sinasabi ni True Father. Yes pa, Ate Sylvia. Nakita ko kasi nag-open ka ng mic.
Ma'am Irene, hello.
Yes po. Yes, Ma'am
Tatanong ko
Marlene.
lang, si True Father ba, nag-English din?
Oo nga, no.
Meron ba siya speaks na nag-English na?
Kuya Randy. Ano, masasagot ko ba yan? Kasi parang wala pa akong na-encounter na unless meron talaga, pero sa pagkakatanda ko yung mga
Wala
napapanood,
talaga.
wala pa eh.
Wala pa ako na-encounter, ma'am. Pero usually kasi kinokorek niya si Reverend Pac pagka ano dati. Si Colonel Pac. Pati yung translator niya dati pagka hindi maganda yung pagka-translate niya ng English yung ano sinasabi ni Father. Pero wala ko na ano. Pero parang sa Europe yata meron yata siya yung pure na English na speech.
Ibig sabihin, si Randy, marunong din talaga siya mag-English kasi kung chine-check niya, naiintindihan niya yun, di ba?
Opo.
Pero
Hindi po
ayaw
siya
niya
pwede.
mag-English.
Mas kasi mas internal po kasi ang Hangul yung Korean na ano. Mas deep po yung meaning ng mga pag na-express niya na mabuti. Pero si Father fluent siya sa Korean sa Japanese.
Japanese.
Meron akong video dito na I'm looking. Ano ba dapat magpe-present ngayon?
Ang sabi po sa aking mahiwagang reminder. Sa mahiwaga akong reminder. Ano ngayon, yung second batch will be yung Abraham's family, si Miss Bell, and then si Miss Judy for the root of sin, at saka dalawang introduction to DP. Tapos, yun po for Saturday.
Kung wala, let's watch this video na lang.
I just can't hold up in here. I hold up in it because Bobby Stone says, come check out something. But y'all started something. And where I'm from, those who travel, you give me travel mercies for a reason. and may at this time that reason still be manifested in all the words that we engage in, all our activities, and all the thoughts that we have. That the church of the folks say, amen, ashe, and so it is. So the Biocycle spiritual, I'm the timekeeper, I'm just telling you right now. Because y'all started something when I came here. I wasn't following anybody, I just came rolled up in here. I rolled up in here because Bumpy Stone says, come check out something. But y'all started something. And where I'm from, if you don't start nothing, won't be nothing. But since it's on, it's on. And so we have to then deal with what's happening. So when we talk about the biopsychosocial phenomenon, we often miss things in church because we're focused on one aspect of being, but we miss the totality of what it means to be human. When we talk about the issue of biopsychosocial, we recognize that the mind, spirit, and body are connected. We heard today about that we are glorified dirt. If then we are glorified dirt, what distinguishes this particular body from dust and dirt in the ground? There is something inside of the body that imbues every molecule of our being that animates the dirt and gives it some essence. So when we talk then about the breathing of life into a being, that spiritual element gives life. So the thing that looks like dirt later ain't dirt right now. Is that making sense? Yeah. And I do have a PhD, and I did say ain't. So it is understanding the connection between the mind, the body, and the particular essence called spirit that makes things happen. That I can tell you right now, I can say, close your eyes and imagine that you're on the edge of a cliff, and what your body will begin to do is to respond to it as if you were actually on the edge of a cliff. Your blood pressure will begin to increase, Dr. Ross. Your adrenaline will begin to flow. Your cortisol level will go up, and yet you are not on a cliff at all. It was in your mind that you created that entire reality that changed your physiology. Does that make sense? Yeah. And how your physiology then responds, it influences how your spirit manipulates and moves in the environment. Yeah. So when we understand that there are certain things that are in operation that are trying to keep us at a level of this, here it is, here's coming. I'm not going to make it the word, Charles Bishop, I promise I won't do it. You do it, I'm like, no. All right, so it keeps us discombobulated, it keeps us disconnected, it keeps us confused and distracted from understanding that we are divine. But let's look at this particular, this passage. We've heard this before about not being conformed, conformed to the world, right? But being transformed by the what? Now somehow we miss this in church. We begin to assume, I can't stand our single church that says that you don't need a psychologist. You don't need a psychiatrist. You don't need a medical doctor. All you need is Jesus. Yes, I understand what you're saying. But God imbued every last one of us with a talent. And there are some things as a minister, it just can't get done. There's some things as a psychologist, it just can't get done. There's some things as a medical doctor, it takes the whole family to work together to create wholeness. But some people begin to say, you don't need, and that's when you know somebody, you already know. When somebody says that they don't need something, the psychologist, we already know where you're coming from. All right, y'all catch that one later too. But it says, and be not conformed to the world, right? But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? That you may prove what is good. Form. Let's deal with this issue of form. Form appears twice there. There is conformed and there is what? Transformed. Form is shape. And then what we heard also, y'all started this, you said that you cannot be what? Defiled by, what did you say? The Spirit said again? Spirit, what you consume. But you can be deformed what you put into your body. How that? Y'all ain't catching that one. Yeah, I can give you something inside of your glass right now that will deform your entire reality. Yeah. Is that making sense? Yes, you can be deformed, but all right, we get, all right, it's a bigger piece I want to present to you. So the idea of being conformed, shaped, transformed, moved from one level to another by the renewing of your mind. Where is the mind is a fundamental question. Well, some suggest it was in the heart, some say it was in the brain. But what we do know is that mind is that thing that causes anything to come into existence. Everything in this room was in the mind, was a thought first. How about that? Even you were a thought. Right. Yeah. My father saw my mother and said, That was a thought. NIP. Is that making sense? Yes. But we have an industry that is designed to sell us some stuff, and so we are influenced by the particular lifestyle. We conform, an idea of obesity takes over. We understand that obesity takes over in our communities, and so then we are abundant, and we assume that somehow the healthy baby is a fat baby. In reality, a fat baby is not a healthy baby. Y'all ain't catching that one. See, because we do see, y'all ain't catching, you gotta catch this. Because if we believe then that the body is a temple that houses the Spirit of God, then how are we treating the temple becomes a fundamental question. We saw an image a little while ago. We saw an image of a particular temple, and we were looking, the big rooms, the wonderful rooms. It's majestic. Right? It's on video. Am I lying? Am I right? Yeah. Okay. Some people say that I talk too fast. I would suggest that some people just listen too slowly. Because if it come out of our mouth, your ears can catch this. If I don't talk fast, I'll think about too much stuff. But the images of the building, the temple, it would be a sad state of affairs to go into that beautiful, pristine place and see it in total disarray. It looks good on the outside, but on the inside it's disrupted. That if you want to see a house go down, have a family to move out of it. And the roof will begin to fall in. That something happens that what animates that house transforms every aspect of being. The same thing with your temple. Your temple is modified by what the Spirit is doing, but the Spirit animates the body, and so you have to take care of both the body and the Spirit to have everything work, but your mind is the thing that controls it all. Wherever you find you're behind, your mind led you there. Parliament says that free your mind and your behind will follow. So wherever you find yourself, you thought yourself into that situation. And so we don't recognize the power of the mind, and people can control mind and thought, and therefore we get tied up into some confusion. Don't know how we got there. Read, as we heard earlier, read means go back and buy. Literate is the legion. You can be a religious person and don't have any bit of spirituality within you. Right. Want to be clear. Because you profess religion doesn't make you spiritual. And because you are walking around spiritual doesn't make you religious. Because religion is the vehicle through which we get to a place called spirituality. And when individuals begin to respect and respond to the practice that is in religion and the spirit essence of God within us, it begins to create a whole new reality. The spirit is the life force, the life energy, the essence that came from God, as we heard earlier, that spoke into the ovum. The question always begs to be answered. We can talk about a sperm and egg connecting. My question is, how did the sperm know how to find the egg? How did the egg know how to unite with the sperm cells? How did it know how to travel and mount in the uterus? How did it know how to do all of that? How did it figure out how to develop? And how did the body know how to do what it did and supply what it supplied? How did it know is the question. And the answer to the question is that divine intelligence has always been there. So whatever it is that was in the ovum is also in the room right now. God is that particular essence. Is that making sense? Yeah. We talked about, y'all got this part started. I wasn't even talk about this one, Bishop, but here it is. We talked about this, the issue of the snake. We talked about the snake and the serpent and go on and on. And studies show ourselves approved. Let's try that one, right? So we know that this particular image here is a symbol that's utilized to the star of life. But it comes from what's called the rod of Affinities. Affinities was actually Imhotep in ancient Kemet. The idea of the serpent, brothers and sisters, was utilized not as a particular entity that causes death, but healers used it because there was something deemed to be sacred in the venom of a snake. And that if one is imbued with it, they can be transformed. But too much of it, they can die. So there was a dual process in the snake. Also, the snake was that once you were sick, you were limp and lifeless. But as the snake sheds its skin, it comes anew. It says that once you were healed, you become renewed. Do you hear coming? Y'all didn't hear that one. Let me back up again so you catch this. Watch this. It says, be transformed by the what? It said that once you begin to lose the old skin, have you heard that before? That the new skin takes over and there's a new reality. So this idea of renewal has to be recognized. Now, here is a symbol that we normally see as the particular symbol of healing. It comes from the wand of Tahuti, or wand of staff of Hermes, or Mercury. It is a take on this idea that there's both life and death. And her life and death is found both in the what? In the tongue. Same thing. That there is a life and death process, and that they intertwine, that they create this thing, and that as you elevate in consciousness, that is both male and female, that as you elevate in consciousness, you begin to transcend your situation and you become a Christ. The original symbol was like this one. It was Tahuti. Tahuti, as you look at the particular Tahuti, go come to the feathers. The feather of Ma'at is where it is, and Ma'at symbolizes truth, justice, harmony, propriety, balance, and order. Yeah. That as you become elevated from a dead level and ascend to a higher level, you then have consciousness of Christ, and then that makes you a Christ on earth. So the story that we're reading about at one point in the Bible with Moses and the staff is telling us that clearly where he studied and understood how to be human came out of ancient Kemet. Y'all, you see, I'm just saying. So we spew out the words but don't understand the foundational studies. There's a reason Jesus disappears. There's a reason that Moses comes away when he comes out. Because when you study traditions in ancient Kemet or Egypt, you realize that you could not even come out to be a higher priest until you were 42 years old. As a matter of fact, when you went in to go to school, you couldn't talk for an entire year. You couldn't ask a question because you didn't know enough to ask a good question. Deep stuff. So the stories that we're reading about, and we get this other story too, right? We hear the story about Moses and Egyptians and the idea of captivity, but we never study the idea of traditional societies and who was in control of Egypt at that particular time. Deep conversation. You deal with the various dynasties. The Hyksos probably were in control of what happened, is that the Hyksos were actually invaders who actually enslaved the folks that were there. Kind of like this. Kind of like Native Americans were here first, but we don't see many of them around. How about that? Does that make sense? Right? Are you following that? Yes. So the people that in this land right now, we're not the original inhabitants in this room. Most of us are not the inhabitants. How about that? And y'all will catch that one later too. Let me get to you. So what happens here is that Tahuti is symbolized, watch this, my brothers and sisters, is symbolized with the bird, the ibis bird. The ibis bird can wade through the murky waters and pick out what is edible to be consumed. That it had divine insight and was able to deal with the issue of illumination. That to me sounds like a preacher. That you have to begin to look at certain situations and hear certain things and begin to wade through the murkiness of the situation and begin to derive at what? Truth. Find something that can be consumed. And that as you do that, as you elevate in consciousness, you become one with God. That is a Christ moment. See, the idea of wrestling, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rules, right? The idea of wrestling, it is not the issue of a person, but the issue of thought, of processes. Thought again, what the parable of the sword. And what do the various grounds symbolize? Symbolize what? Mind. Some people have a bad mind. Can't tell them anything. No matter how, some people get it for a moment, and they just forget it. Right? I had it in a moment, but I forgot it. Right? I cannot remember it. As we heard earlier about read. You cannot remember anything that you have not remembered. Right? Does that make sense? You got to figure out how to remember something. And so this parable tells us clearly about the mind. And sometimes in church, we miss this because we don't understand that the discussion about the mind and the body are very essential to human understanding. We hear about the idea of the particular boy and legions. And so we have again counseling to get out the particular lesions in the body. But we heard, I always call you Bishop, Reverend Donaldson. cogent. We heard us say yesterday about I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. If that is so, then what is the it that we're talking about? The it of I am fearfully and wonderfully made, marvelous of my work, other works, and that my soul knows right and well. If your soul knows right, then why don't you do right? My grandmother says that if you know better, then what? You do better. But maybe the minds haven't been transformed, that all things were lawful. Let's go to that part right there. But I want to show you this part about the body temple. And if we believe that the body is a temple, and we understand that things challenge us through Israel and so forth and so on, and stress and so forth, then what is it that we are supposed to do as a people? What are people coming to us in our churches dealing with? How about that one? Yes, we can give a particular theology. We talk about Jesus. Yes, we can talk about nothing but the blood. Yes, we can talk about all those things. And at the end of the day, how does it transform someone's life to live a little bit better? What happens when somebody presents to you that, yes, I'm here, but I have an issue with substance abuse?
All right.
Yes, I'm here, but I've been sexually violated. Yes, I hear what you said about Jesus, but this issue of my spouse leaving me causing me to come and say, yes, you tell me that I ought to honor marriage. But do you understand the hell that I'm living with? Do you understand the confusion that's going on in my space? We have to recognize that it goes beyond simply the pulpit to say yes and rely on Jesus, and it goes beyond it to say that let's break down the essential elements of what you're dealing with. Let's talk about your abuse. Let's talk about the violence. Let's talk about all those things so we can unpackage it. Because if it's unpackaged, it is simply there, it is festering, it is growing, it is becoming large, and some things that we dealt with, we have not dealt with them at all. They're still there. It's still there. The memory, Dr. Ross, memory is there to help us live life better. It can work for us or against us. Right? I mentioned earlier about this idea of the dog, and you kick a dog long enough, the dog will begin to not come from under the house. It remembers what your presence means to it. We do the same thing to one another. We remember how we were mistreated by someone else. So I see you remind me of someone else, I treat you like you're someone else. We have to recognize that everybody in this room has some shiggity they dealing with. Is that making sense? Not the issue of y'all have sinned. The issue is what? We all have sinned. Everybody in this room has a narrative. Am I right or wrong? That's something that you don't want anybody in this room to know about. Right? You would be embarrassed that someone knew. And as a matter of fact, I'm talking about it, come back to your memory, and you think, like, how does he know? You want to know how I know? Because I, too, have some what? Shiggity that I don't want you to know about. Is that making sense? Y'all get that one later. Some stuff. And it is a mental process. It stays there. Emotions of fear, of sadness, despair, guilt, destructive emotions are there, and they disallow us from growing. And the thing that we forget to recognize is that we must be transformed by the renewal, and sometimes that renewal comes in the pulpit and then it goes beyond the pulpit. What do we do? We understand also that the body works. You can understand around the Valentine's Day. What do we buy for folks for Valentine's Day? And what chocolate? I'm just saying. All right, so pause for a moment. This one just came in. December 25th was acknowledged as a particular elevation of spiritual illumination, not because of Jesus being born, but because at the time people recognized that as you look at the agrarian societies, that the sun would begin to come closer to the earth and begin to cause life to grow towards it. And as things begin to go towards the sun, at December 21st, as a matter of fact, in the Northern Hemisphere, December 20th is called the winter solstice. It's the shortest day of the entire year. As the days begin to get longer around 25th, you can notice as the days get longer, that life is beginning to come back on earth. And so the sun, the S-U-N of God, is coming to bring forth life and life more abundantly. And therefore they pair the particular tradition of recognizing the solstice coming and Jesus at the same time. Y'all pause, catch this. It's a sad state of affairs that when a plant, an organism, does not grow towards illumination of light. Y'all gotta get that again. It's a sad situation when a plant refuses to grow towards the sun. It is sad when a human being refuses to grow towards enlightenment. Yes. The idea, y'all gotta catch that. As a matter of fact, we're walking around with this book called the Holy Bible. And do we recognize that the word holy comes from the word holios, and holios means sun, and biblios means book, therefore it is about the book of the what? Sun. Hello? Yes. Which means then that the tradition of celebrating the coming of the S-U-N of God is really one that is age old. That's why it's called Sunday. Y'all, come on, y'all. This is about illumination. So let's drop this right here. So let's do this. If you were glorified dirt, and that means then that substance from you is of the earth, then why do we not consume more earth? That's why we celebrated it in the first place. To restore the body so that the mind can function. If the mind is out of order, the body can't function, and the body can't function, everything is out of order. So you have to have your health, your wealth, and your prosperity for it to work. If a person who fortifies what God has given them with substance from the earth to sustain it is a health nut, what do you call someone who doesn't care about what they put in their body? Is that making sense? Oh yeah, we can consume death all day long. How can we preach a living particular sermon when we don't consume life to be able to be a life-giving source to anybody else? Y'all ain't catching that. Because the issue of ill health is an issue in the church. When you want to deal with obesity, go to a black church. If you want to deal with hypertension, go to a black church. If you want to deal with diabetes, I'm just saying. And we're not dealing with essential issues because we are preaching that dead theology. Let them say that take care of your mind, your body, and your soul. Is that making sense? We want to talk about one thing. We're talking about the issue of nutrition, of exercise. We saw it a few minutes ago, exercise and jumping and hopping. People understand this, but some people miss it because they think all you got to do is hoop and holler and spit and give it, and ooh, I felt good today. And sickness is just sick. I am trying my best. But yet we say, I love the Lord. How can you love that which you can not see, and you can't love that which you see every day? You look in the mirror every day and see your body, you can't love it. Enough to say, I want to treat this body today, this temple of God, with everything that I know is good, so that the temple can be okay. My father loved automobiles, and he loved to talk about automobiles, and he showed me, he says, he'll beat a raggedy car. He says, son, this is the car that you want to get. That car is beaten up. He says, yeah, but the engine in it is good. He says, Dad, I worked on it right there. He says, yeah, the Bible is good, but the engine ain't worth it. It's a sad state of affairs. A lot of times we're dressed up and we're dressed up, but the engine just ain't running right. Right. Yeah, the engine is not running right. That's a ministry of why? I'm going to show you why it's important, right? The body draws on energy from substance that it consumes to be able to do what it does. The calorie means a unit of energy to be burned to take care of something. If you're not doing anything, then stop eating. Y'all may catch that. If you're not doing anything, then stop eating, because it is about a unit of energy to be burned while you're doing something. Sitting around, yeah, okay. But it draws from it, and food then is an energy source. Remember, we said the sun giving, imbuing them with energy, and vegetables and fruits and so forth, so on, gives the body what it needs. And I won't go through that long conversation. That the idea of exercise rejuvenates and moves things and helps things to happen. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. Brother Clay was up the other day, yesterday, early in the morning, and they're just grunting and pushing weight. Made me mad. He was pushing weight around. And I got there later than he got there. I got there earlier today. I want to beat him there today. Why? Because I understand that keeping the body together makes the mind stay clear. You can't get a good thought going. Your mind is clogged up with some stuff. Right? The ministers in the church then must have activities that begin to facilitate movement of our people. Why is that important? We'll deal with that. Zumba, Latin cardio. I would love to go to Brother Clay's church. Just big guns. Y'all don't know that brother got some guns underneath that suit right there. But the issue is that it is about holistic health. Not simply one aspect. I'm going to tell you right now. You talk about tithes and offering, if the congregation is dead, you ain't getting nothing. How about that? Now, I'm just saying that we know that jogging can facilitate the idea of memory and can generate the idea of cognitive functioning. How deep is it to have a congregation of people who are thinking about things? We know that burning calories, that the idea of people who exercise 3 or more times, I didn't make this stuff, I'm just saying, exercise 3 or more times a week can earn nearly 10% more than those who do not. Can we pause for a moment for those who are concerned about tithes and offering? Can you see a connection right here? Tithes, I'm not saying it's pause this. If you think about tithes, I'm just saying, it's not you all, Brother Clay, I'm just saying it's those who are. If your folks are exercising and they earn more, which means that what can happen? Your ministries can grow. Thank you very much. Your ministries can grow. Does that make y'all ain't catching that? I ain't doing nothing. I ain't what? Oh yeah. I'm taking the stairs and yeah, some good food we eat, a whole lot of food we eat. Am I right? That's why I take the stairs. Bishop, Curtin. That's why we take the stairs. Because I know we eating, just eating. All right, no. Volunteering may increase life expectancy. How about having some programs, as Brother Wright said, in your church to increase folks' life expectancies, and as they're engaged in the process of doing certain things, they begin to feel better. As they feel better, they do better. As they do better, then your ministry begins to grow. This is a mind, body, and spirit connection. I didn't make that. I look at research. That's what I do. And to talk about the issue of happier. How about Pharrell and being happy? That people who consume 2 or more servings of fruit and vegetables a day are happier than those. That's why some of y'all mad as hell. I know I said that. Just walking around mad and grumpy. Maybe when you have a church activity, because you got somebody that y'all know that you're right. The lady in the church, and the guy had the angel his suit on, and he just jumping up and down, and all of a sudden he jumped up and took it off, and it was a devil, and then everybody started running out of the church. And the old lady was running to get out of the church, The devil caught up to her, and she said, "Wait! I've been on your side the whole time. I've been working on your side the whole time, devil." Some of y'all know you don't got the people inside. I just say y'all won't admit it. Some folks who need some more fruits. I tell you, I'll show that sign. All right. Bruce. Oh, that was slick, Bruce. You see what Bruce did? Some people, yes. Some people need some more fruit. How about that? I'm good, thank you. An Italian study. How about crucifying cancer? Because what happens is that as a result of not eating healthily, we feed certain things inside of the body. We feed death. Y'all get quiet on this. I'm just saying. Broccoli, right? Cauliflower, cabbage, kale can reduce the risk of various cancers. we need to have a ministry that speaks to the health of a population. Mind, body, and soul. That's taking care of the temple. Fiber. 2 or 3 grams more of fiber can help prevent arterial stiffness. Why is that important to certain people who are under duress and stress? As you deal with stress, adrenaline level raises higher. Adrenaline then causes cortisol to mount up in the body. Adrenaline has to be burned off through exercise, through activity. When you deal with various isms, you have a lot of adrenaline in your system. But as cortisol is not expended or expelled out of the system, it builds up in the arteries and causes plaque. Plaque in arteries causes the blood to have to try to push through, causes what? High blood pressure. But then there's a blockage that can take place called coronary heart disease. So if we tell our people about consuming more what? Fiber, we are causing them to live longer and happier, and therefore they will begin to honor us because they recognize that we are preaching to their bodies, preaching to their mind, and preaching to their spirits. That's essential. We have a ministry that talks all day long about the Daniel fast and the Daniel fast and the Daniel fast. Ooh, I can't fast. The reason, I'm done on this affirmation. The reason that there was the idea of ritual, we talked about the Old Testament and stuff, we miss stuff all the time because we get lost in someone else's reality. Ritual is essential to human functioning. Everybody in this room has a ritual, or 2, or 3, or 4. There are things you do, brush your teeth. There are things you do before you eat. That some people change clothes 2 or 3 times a day at the come. I'm just saying. I watch it. Ritual. The sacrificing was ritual. We say that we do not have to sacrifice anymore. The question is, why do you pray before you eat? Y'all ain't catching that one. If you ate that beef, somebody sacrificed that beef for you to eat. There was blood spared for you. I'm just saying. But when you can become detached from ritual, you consume with no connection to spirituality. An example is that I am wearing a shoe. Yes or no? Yes. But I'm wearing it on my head. Incorrect positioning of the shoe. But I'm wearing one. Symbolism without substance is about as asinine as wearing a shoe in your head. Where is the substance in our various symbols? So the tradition taught us to respect the totality of life. You saw Avatar. I sacrificed you so that I could do this. We don't put that into perspective. We simply sacrifice and we get, and we get, and we get, and we get. And you know why? Really? Because, I got you. Because we have ritual that remind us of how to do this. Santa Claus, this time of year, can see you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Now, 11 months out of the year, we've told children about God, who knows everything about you. Humble yourself to God so that you can have the goodness of the kingdom. I'm hollering at somebody. So what happens is that Santa Claus is a physical manifestation in a child's mind of what God is. All right? And what is the thing that we leave out for Santa Claus? Milk and cookies. Yes or no? Yeah. Don't think y'all don't know the story? Okay. It's straight. What is the last thing Santa Claus needs? The ritual symbolizes consumerism. Get. Boom. He can command 8 tiny reindeer. So that means that we're giving him something to torture 8 tiny reindeer, all the more. But he has this power to make the reindeer fly. And these reindeer can take him around the world in one night. Which means Santa Claus is omnipotent, Santa Claus is omniscient, and Santa Claus is omnipresent. Ritual gets our children into believing that somehow everything in this world is about them consuming, and that, watch this, what did you get for Christmas this year? Oh, I got this. You must have been good. That your worth is determined by how many things you have. Or you got this one big thing. Oh, you must have been really good. Your goodness is determined by your materialism. And we wonder what happens to our children when we grow up to be adults. And we have the same mentality. Detached from the power of ritual. Just getting. Getting larger, getting unhealthy. Spirit is depleted. And don't have what T-I-M-E. That means be quiet. I'm going to talk another 20 minutes. All right, so. And we miss out on what ritual has done to change our lives. We must begin to recognize the power of ritual. And put substance in the ritual. Don't just do ritual for the sake of ritual, but put substance there. Yes. Now, as a result of that, people can make connections to restore their power to be a Christ, a God force on earth. Without that, one remains disconnected, and then they are forever lost. Is that making sense? Yes. Amen. So, one thing to do is to understand that affirmations are very powerful in our lives. Everybody in this room affirms something on a day-to-day basis. You affirm that you are unintelligent, you affirm that you're beautiful, whatever it is. It means to make firm. One thing we practice is about giving affirmations to people to begin to say day in and day out, to transform, right, their minds to be renewed day to day, right, every day. Wake up in the morning, I may fear my advisor, so that I am totally awake while proceeding with faith and trust in my Creator. Therefore, my fears become cautious guides rather than limiters of my growth. Fear can be a wonderful messenger, servant, but a poor master. Daytime. I choose only thoughts, attitudes, and feelings that move me towards my highest good, greatest joy, and peace of mind. Because y'all know when you work with some people sometimes, some stuff comes up at work with people, and you just get all thrown off. I choose thoughts, and you gotta pray through that moment, right? Bedtime, I forgive all persons, situations, and circumstances that created discomfort in my life today. I rise above them. And most of all, I forgive myself. Thank you so much. Forgive yourself and love yourself. As a matter of fact, look at your neighbor right now and say, neighbor, when I see you, I see myself. I won't do anything to you that I wouldn't do to myself. When I see you, I see God. I see the God in you. And the God in you loves the God in me. The God in me loves the God in you. I say amen.
Okay pa ba kayong lahat? Hi ulit. Teka lang po ha. Okay, so napanood natin yung video. Sorry Kuya Randy, anong pangalan nung nagsasalita? Hindi ko na ano kanina.
Yung nag-present,
Apa,
hindi ko rin kabisado eh.
okay.
Pero convener yun ng
Pero,
ACLC.
okay.
Sa mga convener ng
Yan,
ACLC.
so, maganda po yung naging video and yung mga sinabi niya. Although medyo challenging sa akin, mabilis siya magsalita. Kaya nung sinabi sa kanya na I talk fast, yung sinabi niya kanina na I talk fast, too fast. Nag-agree ako doon kasi medyo mabilis nga talaga siyang magsalita.
Ito lang yung
Pero
ano
may
niya
mga
is, ang topic niya is renewal of spirit, mind, and body.
body, yes. And
Yan. Renewal of mind, body, and spirit. Yun yung ano niya. Yung biocycle spirit. So, yun.
yung mga iba kasing na-mention niya po doon, yung mga na-catch ko lang is yung kay Santa Claus. Yung ritual, yung power ng ritual. So, hindi ko nakita yung ganong ano ba yun? Yung sinabi niya na at common kasi yun ano, yung sa mga bata. Yung pag Christmas, makakatanggap ka ng gifts. Tapos the more, kapag mas madami yung gift mo, kasi 'di ba, he knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake, yung sa kanta. So ibig sabihin kapag mas madami kang gift, mas naging mabait ka. So parang ano siya, so parang magiging mabait ka lang para lang doon, parang gano'n. Para lang by the end of the year, marami kang makukuhang gift. Tapos yung sinabi niya na yung worth mo will be determined on how many things you have. So, it signifies materialism. So, yun lang. Kapag naging ritual nga naman nung bata yung ganong thinking, eventually madadala niya by the time na lumaki na siya. So, magiging materialistic nga yung dating or yung pag-iisip ng bata na yun. So, that's how a simple ritual is powerful enough to change how someone thinks. And yung na-mention niya rin po na yung how can you love, I don't know if I can say it verbatim, pero base dun sa naalala ko is how can you love somebody um, that you can't see if the one you can see you don't know how to love. Parang oo nga. Parang sinabi niya kasi 'di ba dun sa dulo po is that you should love yourself and forgive yourself. Tapos on how we take care of our body. So parang dun kasi yung naintindihan ko is that um, ang simple lang din naman on how we should take care of ourselves pero hindi nga talaga siya normally or ritually nagagawa. Parang it takes paano ba? Hindi siya yung parang normal, typical na like yung kung paano ka huminga or yung parang ano na lang, parang hindi ko maisip yung tamang word. Free flowing or something na parang pagising mo, matik na ano ka, exercise ka na. Hindi na yung, oh, di natamad ako, ano ba yan, inaantok tao. Yung mga ganun. Hindi ganun yung thinking natin eh. So parang kailangan pa tayong pilitin. Kailangan pong pilitin yung sarili mo. Although may mga tao rin naman na talaga nung na ano na nila, nagawa na nila yung cycle or na-break na nila yung ganong ano. Kaya na nilang i-continue yung ano um, on how to take care of their body. So yung simpleng jogging, yung pagkain ng vegetables na na simple lang, pero it can already give you happiness. Like yung nasabi niya na people who consumes vegetables are happier. Tapos yung jogging nga, it makes your memory more, yung it retains your memory, which is, dati ko pa rin naririnig na yun, na kapag nag-exercise ka, it would help your memory din. Aside from sa health mo nga, yung sa cardio mo and all, it can help your brain too. Ayun. So, how about po sa iba? Ano po yung takeaways nyo kung meron po? Or your realization as you have listened to the video or watched the video pala?
Okay, Rin.
Yes
Hello
po.
po. Alam mo, thankful talaga ako kasi naintindihan mo. Kasi ikaw na yun. Sa totoo lang, nahirapan ako umintindi. Kasi unstable yung net ko. Tapos, ang bilis niyang magsalita. Hinaintindihan ako nung una, yung mind and body. Siguro, ano kayo sinasabi niya sa mind and body? Tapos, konti lang ang naintindihan ko. Kaya at least, naintindihan mo. Thank you po. My goodness. Pero pag si Dr. Kita naman, naiintindihan ko naman magsalita. Pero siya, grabe naman siya magsalita. Ang bilis-bilis. Oo nga.
Meron siyang slang. Mas
Nahirapan
mabilis siya
ako.
magsalita. So, mahirap talagang i-catch kung hindi mo siya normaling naririnig.
Iyo, tama. Ay, sorry for me. Ay, my goodness. At least, nandiyan ka.
Si Ate Silvia po kaya, po alam kung stable din yung net ni Ate Silvia.
Ate Silvia, nag-on na.
Nag-on na ng ano.
Ayan, nag-on siya.
Hello, hindi niyo ako naririnig?
Ngayon, okay na, Ate Silvia. Okay na po.
Kanina wala.
Okay, sige. Pareho tayo, ma'am. Hindi ko maintindihan, sobrang bilis dahil hindi po ako sanay makinig ng ganun. Kaya I'm grateful to Ma'am Irene kasi siguro sanay nga siyang manood ng English movies or whatever. Hindi ako talaga masyadong nakakaunawa doon. Nang naintindihan ko lang yung patapos na nakikita ko yung sarili ko sa inyo. Yung ganun. Yun lang naintindihan ko. Pero yung mga, hindi ko masyadong naiintindihan, masyadong mabilis. Diyos ko po, ano ba ito? Ano ba yan? Nahihiya ako sa sarili ko. Dahil hindi ko masyadong, oh my God, I feel sorry. Kaya thank you talaga, Ma'am Ate Irene. Pero I am honestly, grateful po. Mas naunawaan ko po yung kanina una na lecture and it's to me, the video. To me, it's really heart-moving victory in a way. Yung mga ginagawa ni true parents ba back then when he got started when he was mobilizing America, yung mga substantial miracles talaga yung mga nangyayari na gawa niya na nila. Ayun. Pero itong yung latest na video, oh my goodness, parang akong talagang sobrang bobo ko. I'm sorry. Hindi ko masyadong nauunawaan. Kaya thank you very much, Ate Erin, for the understanding, for sharing what you understood. Maraming salamat po. And thank you also, Kuya Randy, for those amazing collections. Siguro, I don't know, kung I have that, I have to watch it over and over, admittedly, para maunawaan ko siya clearly. But it is amazing. Ang sobrang, parang kumbaga, artistically, parang nakikita, parang nare-relate ko yung ano niya, yung enthusiasm ng speaker of conveying the message. Unfortunately, ako yung may problema. Hindi ko masyadong nauunawaan yung mga pinagsasabi niya sa sobrang bilis at saka siguro slang nga. Kaya yun.
Meron po kasi slang.
Hindi ako masyadong sanay makinig ng English, ay, di ko masyado siguro nga, hindi, honestly, admittedly, no, pag may mga English movies, hindi ko madaling maunawaan. Because I'm not used to hearing them. So, yun yung, parang yun nangyari dun kanina. Plus, siguro din, hindi ganun ako ka-ready to receive nung kanyang message. Kaya, parang I'm having a hard time understanding talaga. Ano ba yan? I'm sorry, but thank you. Again, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your heart, Ate Sylvia. Ay, si Sir Herwin, background lang, no? Hindi ko siya matatanong.
Busy daw sila eh.
Actually, kung titingnan natin yung presentation, maganda yung topic kasi Christian perspective on the renewal of mind, body, and spirit. Pero napansin niyo, di ba? Kahit gaano kaganda yung topic, kung hindi ka rin nakikiayon dun sa audience, di ba? Kung hindi mo rin sabayan yung capacity ng audience to understand your presentation. Kaya nga, diba, na-realize niya towards the end na mabilis pala siya masyado, na dapat na in the beginning pa lang, doon niya palang chinek kung mabilis siya masyado or is react if I'm too fast. Kasi usually kasi mga Black American talagang mga ganun sila kabilis, tapos may slang pa sila. Kaya minsan parang kinakain nila yung sinasabi nila na dapat iluwa nila, binulunok nila yung sinasabi nila. So, what we can learn from that is when we present, it's really important that we have to check the audience. Are we riding with the way they are we riding the pattern of their reception, or dapat aware tayo na i-check din natin, am I too fast, para sa ganun you can adjust. Wag sa huli, but it should be in the very beginning. Parang yung first na line na i-present mo, after ng first line, or after ng, halimbawa, pagpalagay natin 2 slides, sa pinaka-umpisa, pwede ka mag-post dun, tapos check mo yung audience mo. Am I too fast for you to understand it? Or am I too naintindihan nyo ba ako? Parang gano'n na lang, sabihin natin.
Agree po ako doon.
Makapag-adjust ka at saka ma-develop mo yung connection mo rin sa mga audience mo, sa mga participants mo. So as a lecturer, actually, we needed to learn that and understand that way. Okay. Kaya kung tingnan nyo, iba-ibang lecturer, meron, kung lagi mong pinapakinggan, ito yung i-adjust ko. Pag ako mag-present, dapat ganito. Okay? So that's the beauty of listening continuously and learning from the different speakers. Okay?
Meron akong prof dati nung college, Kuya Randy. Naalala ko lang. Ano kasi siya, African American. Economics namin ata yun. First day ng, yun nga, yung class niya, sinabi niya na agad na every time na magle-lecture siya, kasi aram na daw niya na mabilis siya magsalita. Mabilis talaga ako magsalita. So, kapag nabilibilisan kayo, sasabihin nyo sa akin para babagalan ko. Kasi hindi ko siya makontrol masyado. Kung, di ba, pag free-flowing kasi yung pagsasalita mo, di ba? Hindi mo siya makontrol, lalo na kung medyo passionate ka na sa sinasabi mo. Katulad nung speaker kanina, very passionate siya eh. Actually, kaya lang, yun nga, hindi niya makontrol yung bilis nung pagsasalita niya. So, yun, sayang. Sayang yung naging message kung hindi rin na-connect doon sa mga nakinig. So, yun po.
Agree ako doon. Actually, naiintindihan ko lang yung sabi niya. Does it make sense? Yan lang naiintindihan ko. Anong nag-make sense doon?
Ako din.
Talaga.
Yun lang.
Does it make sense? Ha? Saan doon? Yung gano'n. Diyos ko Lord, ano ba ito? Napaka-joker ko naman. Kakahiya talaga. Many parents. Ay, nako. Diyos ko Lord. Kahiya talaga kay many parents talaga.
Pero actually, nakaganon ako kanina habang nakikinig ako. Nakaganon talaga ako. Kasi talagang hindi ko siya, sabi ko nakapikit pa kaya ako habang nakikinig ako.
Kaya pala. Hindi ko maintindihan. Diyos ko po. Aba yan.
Pero yun nga po, nakaka-catch pa rin ako ng kasi nga, normal ko kasing nakakausap is ganun sa work. So, siguro kaya din medyo hindi. Pero mabilis siya talaga ng salita.
Okay, so that would be one thing. Meron pa ako isa. I would like to share this. Sikat to na...
Wow, amazing.
Sikat to na artista. Pero let's listen to this speech. Commencement speaker siya. Kilala niyo siguro to. Kasi alam ko, paborito ng karamihan to eh. Si paring Denzel Washington.
Si Denzel.
Yan.
Ito ba yung mga movies niya?
So,
okay, I like that.
Let's listen.
Ever. The world needs a lot, and we need it from you. We really do. We need it from you young people. I mean, you've invested a lot in your education, and people have invested in you. And let me tell you, the world needs your talents. Man, does it ever. The world needs a lot, and we need it from you. We really do. We need it from you young people. I mean, I'm not speaking for the rest of us up here, but I know I'm getting a little grayer. We need it from you, the young people, because remember this. So you got to get out there. You got to give it everything you got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures. Because remember this, you will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. The Egyptians tried it, and all they got was robbed. So the question is, what are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you are business majors, some of you are theologians, nurses, sociologists. Some of you have money, some of you have patience, some of you have kindness, some of you have love, some of you have the gift of long suffering. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, what are you going to do with what you have? Fail big. That's right. Fail big. Today is the beginning of the rest of your life, and it can be very frightening. It's a new world out there. It's a mean world out there, and you only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test was 9 dots.
and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that. Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run in place all the time and never get anywhere. So continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue to progress. I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living. Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything except my faith. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Fall forward. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. I got 3 reasons, and then you can pick up your iPhones. First, you will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. And I know that's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but hey, I'm telling you, embrace it, because it's inevitable. And I should know. In the acting business, you fail all the time. Early on in my career, I auditioned for a part in a Broadway musical. Perfect role for me, I thought, except for the fact that I can't sing. I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of there to prepare for the next audition, and the next audition, and the next audition. I prayed. I prayed, and I prayed. But I continued to fail, and fail, and fail. But it didn't matter, because you know what? There's an old saying, you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut. So you will catch a break, and I did catch a break. Last year, I did a play called Fences on Broadway. Someone talked about it. Won the Tony Award. And I didn't have to sing, by the way. But here's the kicker. It was at the Court Theater. It was at the same theater that I failed that first audition 30 years prior. The point is, and I'll pick up the pace, the point is every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the guts to fail? Here's my second point about failure. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. He says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes? Not only take risks, but to be open to life, to accept new views, and to be open to new opinions, to be willing to speak at a commencement at one of the best universities in the country, even though you're scared stiff. While it may be frightening, it will also be rewarding. Because the chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you. Never be discouraged. Never hold back. Give everything you got. And when you fall throughout life, and remember this, fall forward. Say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. It's how I live my life. That's why I am, one of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. I'll say it again. True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
Ju?
Adjo.
Amazing.
Galing niya. Ganda.
Amazing speaker.
Combination na yun, no, Kuya Randy. Kasi marami yun eh. Para nakakita ko dun sa broadcast. Madalas. Yung mga speeches.
Actually, the reason why I got Denzel Washington is, kasi, iba yung the way na pag-deliver niya na hindi yung common na speech na hindi siya yung common na mga speaker. Yung mga usual speaker na pag nagbibigay is, although binabasa niya, pero nakikita niyo yung pagdiin niya ng yung mga emphasis na mga pine-present niya.
And it is presented in the very right facing po. Hindi kinakain yung words. Although he speaks fast also, but he knew exactly when to deliver it right in the right facing po. It was my observation.
Kailan siya mabilis. Ganun.
Yes. Ang galing po niya. Yan, parang yung katulad nung niya, yung last niya, yung inspiration na just like do not aspire just to make a living, but aspire to make a difference. And he did it. Yeah, make a difference in your own unique way, wherein you can be understood in our part para sa akin. And how are we going to become effective on that particular undertaking that we are getting into or we are taking in our hands as we aspire every day. Ning ganito, parang katulad nito, we wanted to become educator, pero we have to make a difference in the way we can, uniquely. Kasi hindi naman tayo pareho lahat katulad ni Kuya Randy, but I really believe that we can also make a difference in our own unique way talaga po. But yeah, gusto ko ding I want to agree with what he said na yung talagang burning desire natin is already a yes to what we wanted to achieve, or parang claim na po yon na we can do it. We can really achieve it. Parang ganun. Kasi one example po doon sa, this is very self-centered, pero na-relate ko yung ganun, yung, when I was, because I grew up in the remote area from the far flung area from the hinterland po talaga. And then, when I was young, I was given opportunity to get to some school, get out from our school. Tapos hindi talaga ako marunong this is a very simple example lang kumbaga na yung talagang totoong desire is totoo talaga na ma-achieve mo. I'm not saying this to pull my chair, pero kumbaga, it had made a little difference kumpara siguro kung if I just settle with what I have at hand, or yung opportunity kumbaga na meron ako at back then when I was small. Kasi I did try to make a difference na iba naman, medyo na overwhelmed naman ako doon. Pero with that desire, I wanted to really learn how to speak English back then. And then, hindi naman yun na fully materialized, but in a way, nakagawa naman ako ng kaunting difference, kumbaga, yung ganon, in my own life. Pero, nasobrahan naman yun kasi I was too consumed na later on, halos makalimutan ko nang magsalita ng sarili kong dialect, parang ganon. So, which is not right. That's my realization. Pero, in some way, totoo yun, sinasabi niya na once you have that burning desire, it is already, doon pa lang doon, yung artistic desire natin, na-realize na po yung dream natin. So, parang it's so amazing po talaga. Thank you, Kuya. I wish I could have that. And then, katulad nung dinidesire natin sa UPTA, I really believe na we can do it. It may not happen right now and then, but I strongly believe na it can happen. Even if there are only few of us now. But in the future, parang, I already see na it's going to be materialized po. I'm not giving you false hopes. This is my own belief. This is what I believe really. This is what Opta can really be able to do in the future. So I'm grateful to you. Ngayon pa lang, gusto kong magpasalamat sa inyong lahat talaga for the support, for everything that we have here. I know that it will go milestones in the future. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you po, Ate Sylvia.
Yeah, that's really true. Kaya nga sabi niya, di ba? Dapat hindi lang mag-stop sa iyo, but you should bring others. You should raise others. You should um, educate others as well. Actually, yun naman yung sinasabi sa atin ni Father na we should not be the only one to enter the kingdom of heaven, but we should bring the whole community to the kingdom of heaven.
Actually, Kuya, parang na-move ako doon sa sinabi niya na, parang tayo kasi, it's a very sad reality. Parang naiyak tuloy ako. Na we should not confuse ourselves with movement and progress. Kasi tayo I'm sorry to, this may be critical, no? I'm sorry, pero ito po yung parang na-observe ko na parang naging busy lang tayo sa ginagawa natin, kunyari lang, in the movement. Dito mismo sa atin, I don't have to get out, even in
Stop
my
na
own
natin yung YouTube
region. Please, Kuya, please. Stop. Kaya naging critical po ako.
Ay, si Irene pala. Irene, pa-stop ko na yung YouTube. Hindi na pala ako host.
Teka lang. Paano gagawin?
Thank you so much. Pasensya na. I cannot stop sharing my thoughts.
Doon sa may YouTube.
Go, Ate Sylvia.
I love you, Ma'am.
Alam ba tayo? YouTube na, ano po?
Doon sa live YouTube.
Naka-live pa rin natin.
Live on YouTube. Merong drop down doon na yung arrow down.
Naka-browser kasi po. Baka... Paano gagawin ko kuya?
I-change mo na lang ako sa host. Ikaw, Ate Sylvia, maano mo? Kasi co-host ka naman.
Diba, Kuya, ha? Sandali po. Kasi po, wait a minute.
Yan. Binalik ka.
Okay. Hindi ako naka-laptop, Kuya, eh. Sorry.